about financial aid. For many students, college is pretty expensive and they don't have the means to pay for all of their tuition out of pocket. Many students use a few different resources or sources of money for their college tuition. These sources include borrowing money from their parents, borrowing money from banks, using their own income, like taking from their paychecks or their own savings account, or friends or family donating to their college education. Most of the percentage that is used to pay for their college tuition comes from scholarships and grants. Many students do require some sort of financial help while paying for their college tuition. Many students choose to use loans, especially students who attend universities since their college tuition is so much higher. Loans do need to be paid back at some point. Grants and scholarships are also available to students, and these usually are free to the students. Financial aid is available to students who attend colleges and universities, and financial aid is especially helpful to students in community college because they find that their financial aid covers all of their tuition costs. There are three main steps in the financial aid application process. The first step is to apply for the financial aid. The second step is to receive the financial aid. And the third step is to confirm with their school. The first step in the financial aid application process is applying for financial aid. To do this, you would go to the FAFSA.gov website, and there's an application that's free that you can access from there. You would fill out this application and submit the application from this website. This is the main home screen of the FAFSA.gov website. If this is your first year in college and you're new to financial aid, you would come here to the Start a New FAFSA and you'll get a new fresh application. If this is your second or third year in college and you've already gone through the financial aid application process, you would come to Return a User and click the Login button. The second step in the financial aid application process is receiving your financial aid. You'll receive an email from the FAFSA.gov website stating if you did or did not receive financial aid. If you did not receive financial aid, there are a few reasons why you may have not received it. One of the things that happens often is that the application is not filled out properly. There may have been some information that was missing or some things that just weren't put in correctly. And the email will explain what those things were and tell you how to fix it. And you'll just go into the application, fix it, and resubmit it. Another reason why you may have not received financial aid is you may have too much income coming in and you may be seen as not needing the financial aid as much as other students. If you are awarded financial aid, the email will explain to you how much financial aid and what grants or loans it is from. This is an example of a financial aid award letter. The award letter starts off by congratulating you and telling you that you did receive financial aid. It then will list all the different sources of financial aid that you have. The Federal Perkins Loan and the Federal Direct Subsidized Stafford Loan are generally the sources of financial aid you'll get from completing the FAFSA. The last step in the financial aid application process is to confirm with your school. After you receive your award email or your award letter, you're going to want to call your school's financial aid office and just make sure that they have received your financial aid information and make sure they know you're going to be receiving financial aid for the semesters. And from talking to them, you can also find out exactly how much financial aid you received, and you'll be able to find out how much, if the financial aid covers all of your tuition or only part of it. They'll be able to tell you that when you're on the phone with them. The application has a few different parts. First, it'll ask you for your basic information. This will include your name, your date of birth, and your address. It's also going to ask you about your household, how many people you're living with, how many people you support. It's going to use this information to determine how much financial aid you're going to receive. If your income goes towards supporting more people in your household, like children or a spouse, you most likely will receive more financial aid. The application is also going to ask if you have a criminal history. The application is also going to require your tax information. The tax information is also used to see how much financial aid you're going to receive. Your tax information can be entered in manually on the application on the website, or on the application you can upload all of your tax information directly into the application from your tax return forms. And it will explain how to do that on the website when you get to that part of the application. If you're applying for financial aid before you file your taxes, you will need to save your application, and you'll have to come back to it and enter in all of your tax information after you file. Financial aid can be applied to a few different things. For community college students, it generally covers tuition costs and textbook costs. The financial aid is applied to all of the tuition costs first, and students usually find that they have leftover financial aid, that their financial aid covers all their tuition and there's a balance left over. The students will get this balance back, and many students use this balance to pay for their textbooks, but this balance can also be used to pay for just general school supplies like books and pens and paper and stuff like that. Every time you are in a fall semester, you'll have to reapply for your financial aid at the beginning of that year. You will have to go back to the fafsa.gov website to reapply for your financial aid. Whenever you go back to this website, you'll have to go to that returning user section and click login, and you'll be able to see all of your previous financial aid applications. You'll pick the most recent one, and you'll go through and make sure all of your information is still the same. If you've moved, you'll change your address, things like that. You'll just make sure it's all the same. You'll also have to update your tax information. Once you go through and update this new application, you can submit it. You won't have to redo a whole application. You'll just resubmit the updated one. Financial aid is very helpful to community colleges and their students. It allows students to gain an education while remaining debt-free, since it usually does cover all their tuition costs. Schools usually have a few differences between their policies regarding their financial aid, so any questions should be directed to your school's financial aid office.